All right, y'all, we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business today. We're going to see if, for these two Google searches, if BSS is present. All right, so we're out here in the GBC universe again, where we bring declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, aka full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, home video on the profile, whatever. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our intent spectrum here, in white, high on the left, low on the right. And if a boudoir photographer is rising, they're probably bringing in peeps from the entire intent spectrum, from high intent to low or no intent. At least bringing them in awareness, even if they're low or no intent, awareness that we exist. And if we have a boudoir photographer business that's falling, they're probably missing chunks somewhere here on the intent spectrum. So here we talk about BSS. We're way over on the left side. Highest intent peeps. This is social search and Google search. Search on social networks for boudoir photo shoot in my city. See on Google search, the highest intent keyword searches. And over on the right, that's our other sister brand, different profiles, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. So we're talking about BLCS. Talking about BLCS, kind of a niche problem there, niche pain. And right now we currently only deal with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month on boudoir Facebook ads. And, that side on the right, that's the lowest intent peeps, interruption ads, Facebook, Instagram. They have no intent for boudoir right now. Next, moving on, we got BSS, boudoir search sameness. That's what it is. That means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. If we got 0 slots, we're basically dead. Because we have, we've already talked about approximately 80% of Google searches never reach page 2. They're page 1 only searches. So approximately 80% of searches, aka the bulk of the market, is page 1 only. So from page 2, we're basically dead. Page 1, that's if we got 1 slot on page 1, that's still not enough. There's there's 10 organic slots. There's one, we're one out of, if there's 9 other boudoir photographers, everyone else got 1 slot, then a buyer's just, clicking down all of page 1, basically never gonna go to page 2. Open up everyone's website, gonna compare, contrast, price shop all these boudoir photographers. And as a result, we're still basically invisible because we're being price shopped so much. So we know that 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Common, but it's not normal. Dude, it's not normal to have those few slots on page 1 when Google actually wants to give us way more to those that want to take them. So 0 1 slots on page 1 Google is not normal is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone understands, but also newly, the false belief of page 1 equality, which basically nobody understands yet. So market saturation, that seems like every week someone get a new iPhone, we see them throwing out their Google My Business profile, their website. Now they say they do boudoir, they're a boudoir photographer. Or they get a new camera, they're posting in the mom groups. They also do boudoir photo shoots now. So that's market saturation. Also, COVID, tons of new peeps came into the marketplace because nobody could work. People lost their jobs. But again, everyone's got a phone with a great camera, so bringing in a ton more peeps to become boudoir photographers. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality, this is a big one. This is what I've seen is the #1 killer of boudoir photography businesses. This is where everyone, well, if everyone believes it, kind of automatically, implicitly, this is where, they're kind of like, everyone gets either 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And so, I had, a slot number 8 on Google. The boudoir photographer ranked above me. I got kicked down to slot 10. And, it is what it is because every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots on Google. And there's basically nothing I can do about it. This is 100% incorrect. Google actually will give as many page 1 slots as possible to those who actually want the page 1 slots. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 Google organic search in 10 days. So I know Google gives these slots out to the people that want to take them. And as a result, if people believe this page 1 equality is true, then they never kind of break out of the box and look for solutions. And, well, there were no real good solutions before, but now we got one, which you'll see that in two pictures from here. So we also know that boudoir photographer with BSS, with boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. So micro universe taken shape, a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. It's caused by the two horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Thankfully, though, we finally have a solution. We know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S cubed methodology. And how do we know that? Because we invented it. And so it works exactly as it says. S cubed methodology, social search saturation. We saturate social search with our highest intent, highest demand keywords for highest intent buyers, what they would be searching on Google. To saturate social search, so we show up for all those. It's kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains, all the small streams and rivers, then flow into the large Amazon River. These then eventually all flow into Google, page one Google search. But the initial upstream is ranking high, page one social search across all the four major social networks. Now, S-cubed methodology, this is the only thing that I've seen that can successfully, for boudoir photographers, it's the only thing I've seen that can successfully fight back against market saturation. Literally the only thing. And as a result, we, basically as a result, it's the only thing that gets us results relatively quickly, because the only other thing I've seen actually successfully outcompete is market saturation having a brand, but dude, that takes like 5 years minimum, more like 10 years. So because AI is coming, taking people's jobs, we ain't got 5 or 10 years anymore. We got to move ASAP, 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 and S-cubed methodology is that vehicle. So, imagine we got 1 million boudoir photographers in Omaha, Nebraska. We're one of them. Everyone's got a website saying they're boudoir photographers. So everyone's ranking there. And as a result, we are competing with all these boudoir photographers for page one. So we say, you know what? Screw this. The only chance we got of competing here is cranking S-cubed methodology up to the max. And luckily, I was working with no one else in Omaha, so you could actually hire me. So we crank it up to the max, and let's say we are successfully, we're ranking the first 300 slots, page one of, search in all these social networks. Well, not even page one, dude. That's like a lot more pages than page one, but the first 300 slots, we're taking them up. And as a result, we are, there's a small rivers that flow into page one Google. So we're taking the first 300 organic slots on Google as well. And there's 10 organic slots per page. So we're literally taking the first 30 pages, all the organic slots from them. And so anytime anyone in our city searches with a photographer with those high intent keywords, they are basically anywhere they look. They're basically only finding us. Now, for organic search, they could go to page 31 to essentially start finding our competitors. But dude, we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. They're page 1 search only. So who the heck's hitting page 31? Basically nobody. So as a result, even though there are 999,999 other boudoir photographers and us competing against us, since we captured social search and Google search for the highest intent keywords, we're basically the only one that's being found. So whose business is the only one growing as a result? Our business. Out of all million boudoir photographers. So that's what we mean what I mean when I say this is the only thing I've discovered other than brand that can successfully compete against market saturation. Compete against and still grow the business. Now, once we treat BSS with S-cubed methodology, we have page one visibility. And boom, we get an instant bonus benefit, an initial benefit, which is for every new slot we acquire on page one, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. So this is awesome because, hey, we're getting more slots on page one. We get, more of, out of 10 attention because there's 10 slots, increasing our attention. But actually, we're decreasing the number of boudoir photographers we're competing against because we're kicking a new one off every time we rank another, we get another slot on there. That's an initial benefit initially right off the bat using S-cubed methodology. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. BSV. We have a GBC minimum here, recommended minimum of reaching 3 out of 10 slots on page one Google search, because basically everyone else will have one slot. So if Google's recommended us 3 times, well, buyers can be like, well, why is Google recommend this person? They must be good. They may even click to us, only us, and not even look at the other options on page one. But in addition, there's a tiny chance another boudoir photographer has 2 slots on page one. So if we got 3 slots, we're out competing everyone that has 0, 1, or 2 slots on page 1 of Google search. Now we also know that Boudoir photographer with BSV, with Boudoir search visibility, is a visible Boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got our full micro universe here. A disappearing Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search sameness is caused by the 2 horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Now we use S-cubed methodology. We finally have a solution. Thank the universe. Page 1 visibility. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become a visible Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search visibility. Now my results. So myself, purely using S-cubed methodology, I'm going to rank for the term BLCS Boudoir. And come down to organic. Organic results, we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Organic slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. And slot 10 is also me. And I did this in 10 days. I went from 0 out of 10 slots, Google Organic, page 1. And I got up to 9 out of 10 slots, Google Organic, page 1, in only 10 days. So these are my own results utilizing S-cubed methodology. And so now we're going to check if this boudoir photography business, well, you saw in my picture, I definitely don't have BSS, boudoir search sameness. So we'll see if this boudoir photography business has boudoir search sameness for these 2 searches. We got a local search, then we got kind of the larger city search. So first one, we got West Pasco, Washington. And let's see. So, all right, we got 1. Boom. We got 2. All right, so we do not have BSS. Nice. I wonder if Boudoir by Rebecca is the same one. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. You're in Pasco, Washington. So we got 3. All right, dude, we're hit perfect. This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see at least the GBC minimum. So we do not have BSS for this Google search. Now we'll check. Now we'll check kind of for the larger city area. So go down to the organic. So larger city area, Tri-Cities, Washington. So we got 1. 2, right there, the threads. 3, couples boudoir. Okay, that's fine. It's got boudoir in it, so we got 3. Hey, this is actually perfect. So we do not have BSS, and actually for local and city, they've met the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10. So hey, dude, that's perfect. So we can confidently say they're probably not a disappearing boudoir photographer. Well, they don't meet it categorically because they don't have BSS, but probably not disappearing. They're most likely treading water or growing. So I got the the 3 out of 10. So it's perfect. This is what we want to shoot for. And then for those that want to keep growing the momentum, take more page 1 search slots, as many as possible. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've done the local search for yourself, and you saw that you do have BSS, or you've not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, and or you also did that same search, city search, for yourself, and you may have had BSS for your city, or you may have not have hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots for your city, page 1 on Google. So you see you got BSS as it stands right now. You also understand the market saturation, a new phone, new camera, 2 prongs, but you understand this 3rd prong, which is AI is going to be taking more and more people's jobs. So not only do you want to fortify, to basically compete with the current boudoir photographers using S-cubed methodology as your preferred solution, to kind of get more slots on page 1, kick more people off page 1 currently, but you see way more boudoir photographers going to be entering the market because of AI, because of people losing their jobs. And everyone's got a smartphone with a great camera. So you recognize you need to actually additionally fortify your position from the future boudoir photographers that it's going to be more and more over time as more and more people lose their jobs because, again, everyone's got a great camera on their smartphone. Easy to throw Google My Business Profile on a website saying they offer boudoir shoots now. And you want to make sure those people, those new peeps, never even get on page one of Google to prevent people from finding them and price shopping you against them. And you understand that the false belief of page one equality is exactly that, a false belief. You do not have to accept either 0 or 1 slots page one on Google. Google will actually give us as many slots on page one as we want to put in the effort to acquire. So as a result of that, you're seeing SQ methodology, like, heck yeah, dude, I don't have a decade to build a brand. I need results much faster, which SQ methodology can provide results way faster in building a brand. It also it helps accelerate having a brand as well. That's kind of one of the back-end bonuses of that. And you want to achieve page one visibility. You want to become a visible boudoir photographer, and you want to achieve boudoir search visibility. And you want all that because you know you need it on your way to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. You also want the two unspoken back-end benefits, where the more we execute SQ methodology, we're kind of like building up these thematic keyword columns around our social media usernames, our website, our brand, our name. And as we build those thematic keyword columns up, it's invisible, but it increased the probability AI brains recommend us here for Google AI overviews. Premium placement right at the top, way above everyone. Every day we execute SQ methodology correctly, we increase the probability going to be shown in the AI overview. And also, we're increasing the probability the other AI search options are recommending us in their search. So that's ChatGPT search, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Building up these thematic keyword columns, kind of like spokes on a wheel or spokes on a hub. Our hub is our business name, all our social accounts. We're building up this invisible kind of AI brain mindshare, invisible momentum that only AI can see and pull from to be recommended. And the last time I did, I searched for boudoir photographers in a city. The city had like 60 when I went and looked manually, but ChatGPT search only recommended 3. So we're going to increase the probability we get that by successfully utilizing S-cubed methodology. And the final thing on the back end is you want to be a first mover on this because you see, my current plan is to only work with 1 boudoir photographer per city. And so you're saying, man, you can get the current benefits, more slots on page 1, and kick off current boudoir photographers from page 1, make them visible page 2 and deeper, and fortify yourself against future boudoir photographers coming in the market from losing their jobs via AI, and the back-end mindshare of AI overview for Google and AI default search by being early adopter, working with me first in your city, and crowd out all your other competitors from working with me. Because again, my current plan is to only work with 1 boudoir photographer per city. And you also see, if your competitor instead jumps in with me first, then you'll actually have to re-engineer S-cubed methodology somehow, recreate it, rederive it somehow, do all that testing, and you'll never be 100% confident you've rederived it correctly. So you'd have to take all the time to rederive it or derive it for yourself the first time, and then go execute and implement it, while me and your competitor have already made a massive gap ahead of you. And if you executed the same S-cubed methodology as us every day, you would simply maintain the gap. You would have to literally outwork us 2 or 3x every single day to make up the space, make up that gap, and actually make progress, pull the thematic keyword column momentum from your competitor's brand over to your brand. And, dude, who's got that much time in a day? Who has that much time? So you realize, screw that. You'd rather simply be first one early mover of your city to kick out all your competitors from using this against you. And obviously I'll get all these benefits we talked about already. So if that's you, shoot me a DM. Shoot me a DM when my DM's open. My DMs are currently closed. New patient intake at the hospital is currently closed. So watch these videos. Wait for when I do Open up the hospital, open up the new patient intake, and then shoot me a DM, and we'll see if you qualify to use S cubed methodology.